Okay, today we're learning Gemara Baba Kama Daf Samach Amud Beis. Ton Rabbanan. Klovim boichim malach hamoves bola'ir. If you see dogs crying, so it says malach hamoves bola'ir. That's two versions over here. One version malach hamoves bola'ir. Malach hamoves comes to the city. The other version malach hamoves ba'ir. He's in the city. We're going to see soon the difference between the two versions. Then the Gemara says like this: Klovim mesachakim. You see dogs are laughing. I don't remember seeing dogs laughing, but there is such a thing probably. It says over here, Klovim mesachakim. Dogs laughing, or they're playing. Mesach could be laughing or playing. Yeah, I mean they're happy. Eliyahu Hanavi bola'ir. Eliyahu bola'ir. Or the other girsa, Eliyahu Hanavi ba'ir. Again, we're going to see what both girsas, what the nafkamina, what the difference. The Gemara says vanamilem the lesbehu nekeva. Only if among the dogs when they're happy that Eliyahu Hanavi comes to the city when there's no female dog among them, but there's a female dog among them. That's no indication that Eliyahu will come because they're happy because of they have among them a female dog. Now, this is what the Gemara says, and it's obviously very much concealed Gemara. What that's supposed to mean? Dogs crying, Malach HaMavis comes to the city, they're playing, or they're happy, Eliyahu Hanavi. What the dogs have to do with Malach HaMavis? Oh, Eliyahu Hanavi, what do they do with all this Malachim? So before I explain this Gemara, I just want to tell you, I'm going to read you from the Alter Rebbe in the Geras HaKodesh Perek Chav Gimel. The Alter Rebbe writes about learning Ein Yaakov. That's what he writes. Al ken ahuvai achai v'reyai. My dear friends, he says, Al no tereu haroa g'dol azois. Don't make this big evil, meaning wasting time. He's going to talk about now. He says what to do. It's nu kovod la Hashem elokeichem b'terem yechshach. Give honor to Hashem before it gets dark. Dahainu ben mincha l'mayrim. Between mincha and mayrim, kol yemais achoil. All the days of regular days, of mundane days, yemais achoil. Lilmoid ba'asoro pnimius ha'toira. There's a minyan, the Daman Mincha, you have a minyan. Between Mincha and Ma'ariv, we learn together, 10 people together, Pnimius HaTorah, the insides of the Torah. She Agoda, Shebesefer, Ein Yaakov. What's Pnimius HaTorah? The Agadah, what we're learning in Ein Yaakov. Here's the lesson. Sheroiv, Soidos, HaTorah, Gnuzim Bo. Most of the secrets of Torah are hidden of it. It looks like on the surface you're reading something, a story, or sometimes it makes sense, doesn't make sense, but deep inside, if you learn this deep inside, even you don't learn, but still, it's there still. Here is the punchline. Here is what would make all of us maybe want to do that. And this somebody learns Ein Yaakov, it brings a cleansing, offers a cleansing to all the Averis we did in the past. So you see, Ein Yaakov, it's a really big thing. Sometimes we understand, sometimes not, or we think we understood. But either way, when you're learning Ein Yaakov, it's a big thing. So now we're going to try to understand this Gemara. The Gemara says, Klovim boichim malach hamovas be'ir. Again, what's malach hamovas be'ir? And also, like I said, there's two girsas, be'ir or bola'ir. It's like this. Kelav is a gematria of 52. Kelav, chof, 20, lamed, 30. Together it's 50, and base, 52. Base 2 is 52. Kelav. Gematria also behema. Okay, we spoke about it's also gematria ben by when we learned Agodah Shel Pesach with the connection of that, but it's also gematria behema. So the Gemara means something like this: Klovim boichim, when our own nefesh habahamis. We're going to talk about in a minute about the nefesh habahamis. When our own nefesh habahamis boiche, meaning it's sad. So it says when you are sad, then malach hamavis bola'ir. It brings malach hamavis to the ear. It's not malach ba'ir. It's indication. The reason the dogs are crying, they saw malach hamavis. No. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? No. Not malach, they saw malach, they're crying. No. Because they're crying, they brought upon themselves malach hamavis, bola'ir. And why is that? Because when nefesh habahamis is ba'atzvus, it's sad or depressed, again, when our animalistic soul is sad or depressed, it could bring us to very, very low levels. Baal Shem Tov says, doesn't say in Torah, anywhere you're not allowed to be sad. There's no such a law in Torah. You're not allowed to be sad. But he said that the atzvus could bring the person to the worst averis of the Torah. And that's what the Gemara is telling us. It's Merum is right here. Klovim boichim, when the nefesh habahamis, the gematria kelev, it's boiche, it's crying, meaning it's sad, it's depressed. Malach hamavis could come to such a low level to bring malach hamavis. You know, the Gemara says, who yitzhar who asatan, who malach hamavis, you bring upon yourself to the lowest level through atzvus. That's why they were very much Chachma Emes and the Baal Shem Tov and Talmud, they're very much rejecting the idea of being sad, being depressed. Very much they talk a lot about it. One of the Soidas of the Torah's Chassidus, Baal Shem Tov is avodas Hashem b'simcha. It's obviously it's in Torah, avodas Hashem b'simcha. We have many psukim about simcha. That we do have psukim. How do you have to serve Hashem b'simcha? But the Baal Shem Tov shed a light on this. How important it is to avodas Hashem, to succeed in avodas Hashem. We're going to soon sing from this Gemara too. You have to be happy. They say, if I'm not mistaken, it's either from the Kotzker Rebbe or the Sfas Emes. I believe it's from the Kotzker Rebbe. He says, time to eat when you are young. Young children, they're growing, they need to eat. The body needs to grow. That's time to eat. He says, time to sleep, it's after 120. That's time to sleep. You're going to sleep, nobody's going to bother you. After 120. He says, when is it time to be sad? He says, that doesn't have a place, not in this world, not in a grave. According to Hasidus, you cannot be sad even in your grave. It's something you should not be connected to. It's mamash aviyah bois atuma. That's how in Talmud Baal Shem Tov treated inyan of atzvus, of sadness, depression. You have to fight this. This is your malach hamovis. This is going to bring a person down, could do the worst things to him. So that's what they are. Klovim boichim. If you see the Nefesh HaBahamis, it's b'chinas boiche, it's atzvus, it's sad. So you should know, fight it, because that's going to bring you malach hamovis. Stay away from this. Okay. Now, the idea of Bechlal, this inyan of Nefesh HaBahamis, what I'm saying now, the Kelev is a gematria, Behema, Nefesh HaBahamis, that it's mentioned in, like I said, in Sifrei Chassidus, the Alter Rebbe, in Perek Aleph in Tanya. He says that L'kol ish Yisrael, echad tzadik v'echad rosha, he has two nefoshes, yeah. Yeah, Achbir Inga, Dimash Gar Chavla Bashar Agdusha. The L'chol ish Yisrael, echad tzadik v'echad rosha, yesh 10 neshamas. We have two souls, Nefesh Elokis, godly soul, and Nefesh HaBahamis. That's first of all, it's brought up here. And the truth is, it's not. They were not the Chassidus or Kabbalah, not Mechadash anything. It's all hinted in Chazal before. We see such a thing clearly in Maseches Chagigah. Maseches Chagigah Daf Tezayin. The Gemara says like this: Shisha Devarim Ne'emru B'Bnei Odom. 6 things said about human beings. Shloisha K'maloch HaShoros. 3 things were similar to people, human beings in this world, and 3 things that are similar to angels. Shloisha K'Behema. 3 things were similar to the animal. Shloisha K'maloch HaShoros. The 3 things were similar to angels. Yesh Lohem Das K'maloch HaShoros. We have seichel like malachim. No other creation in this world have such a seichel like we have. If you take the oceans, if you take the plants, the trees, the animals, the only who in this world, from the whole creation in this world, has seichel das, we bnei Adam, human beings, k'malach hashoros. Yesh lam u'malchim b'koyim zukufa k'malach hashoros. We go upright like malachim. Animals walk on 4. The head look down, we look upright, and that's indication also, because the animal also have a little bit of seichel, a little bit of brain. At least she knows how to escape from danger, how to get her food. But that brain is not a great brain, and it doesn't have the ability to control the rest of the body. That's why in the same level, they're walking on 4, the brain and the heart, the whole body, it's on the same level. But a person, when he walks upright, it's an indication that his brain, his mind is superior, and that's why it's on top, and it could control the heart and the body. That's in that sense we are similar to Malach HaShoros. We're walking upright. And the third thing is Umesaprim Beloshen Hakodesh Kemalach HaShoros. We speak Loshen Kodesh. I already mentioned in the other shiurim from the Me'or V'Shemesh. Loshen HaKodesh does not have to be necessarily Hebrew. But Loshen HaKodesh means whatever language you speak, you could make it holy. If you speak in a holy fashion, it could be Loshen Kodesh. You could speak in Hebrew, and it could be not Loshen Kodesh. But we're able to speak like a mensch. Speak in a holy fashion. That's the sicha of Malach HaShoros. That's how they speak. They don't speak nonsense. They don't speak dvarim b'teilim. Now, okay, so those 3 things we like malachim. Again, we have seichel, we have brain, and we walk upright, and our speech is holy. Shloisha kebehema. 3 things were similar to an animal. Which things were similar to the animal? Oichlin v'shoisin kebehema. We eat and drink like animals. They eat and drink. We eat and drink. There's nothing to be proud of. Animals could eat too. Uporin v'rovin kebehema. We multiply. We have children. Animals also have children. And then Gemara says, "Umotzin rei kebehema." We go out like an animals. Also, they go out. They have waste to release. Oh. So this Gemara, you see, you have in the world angels that are in heaven, and you have animals here down here, and then you have a human being. There's a combination of the 2. So the malach and an animal came into one body, which is Adam. So he's seichel, the upper part of that's his Adam, that's his human being. The lower part of him is the behema, and that's the animal of him, his emotions, his body. So the function of his mind, of his brain, is to control that animal, to refine it. Anyway, so that's what it says over here. I'm going back to this Gemara in Bava Kama. Klovim boichim. If your Kelev, if your Nefesh HaBahamis is said, So you should know, again, as we said, there's no such avera in Torah to be sad or depressed, but it said it could cause you to bring upon yourself malach hamoves bola'ir, to your own city, to your own body. By the way, the body is called Ir Ktana. Shlomo HaMelech called the body a small city. So you're going to bring into your own city the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, the malach hamoves. Oh. Then the Gemara goes on, and the Gemara says, Klovim mesachakim. When the dog's either playing or happy, which means when the Nefesh HaBahamis is happy when you're happy, the Gemara says, Eliyahu Hanovi Bala'ir. It's so great, like I said, according to the Baal Shem Tov, Avodas Hashem B'Simcha, it's so powerful, it could bring you to such a height in Avodas Hashem, till it's going to bring you to the level of Eliyahu Hanovi. Well, what's the pshat, a level of Eliyahu Hanovi? It's a Braisa in Maseches Avodah Zorah, and that Braisa in Ein Yaakov brought it also in the end of Maseches Soita, and he adds one thing that's not brought in Maseches Avodah Zorah. He says, the Gemara goes there like this. Rapinchas ben Yair Omer, Zehirus Meviyah Lidei Zrizus, Zrizus Meviyah Lidei Nekiyus, V'chulu v'chulu, Rach HaKodesh Meviyah Lidei Tchias HaMeisim, Tchias HaMeisim, Ba Lidei Eliyahu Hanovi Zochel L'Toiv, Hamokim Zechim Ziruz Meviyah Zomer Min Omen. So it's like this. Level, so you go step by step, grow to higher level. If you're careful with something that's going to make you bring it to upper level of Zrizus, you do things more quickly to serve Hashem. That's also meaning over there. Zrizus, you do things because when you're happy to do it, you're not laid back, you're not heavy. Nothing gravitates you back. Then it's going to bring you to Nikius, cleanliness in your mind and your thoughts. And then it says all the way it's going to bring you to Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh brings Tchias HaMeisim. Tchias HaMeisim come through Eliyahu Hanovi. It looks like the highest level of all of them. It's Eliyahu Hanovi. So that's what it says over here. If you want to reach very, very high level, how are you going to reach this level? What's going to bring you to it? By the way, again, these two Gemaras are enhancing each other. But it says Mesach Hakim, meaning happy. It says there's Rizos. Rizos come from happy. But when you're happy, you do things quickly. When you don't want to do it, it takes forever to do something because you don't want to do it. You're really pushing yourself to do it. So the Kelavim Mesach Hakim. Again, the Kelev is the Nefesh HaBahamis. When the Nefesh HaBahamis is happy, you're serving Hashem b'simcha. It says that it bring all the way to the level of Eliyahu Hanovi. Now we have to ask, okay, very great level. We don't know what it is though. Why Eliyahu Hanovi is the highest level from all the Brisa says over there. One thing brings you to another. All the Tchias HaMeisim. What could be greater than that? It's Mamish reviving the dead from their graves. They're going to have a new chayas, new neshama, and they're getting up. And it says it comes through Eliyahu Hanovi. Mashma Eliyahu Hanovi is the highest level. What is the business with Eliyahu Hanovi? So I'll tell you. Eliyahu Hanovi. Eliyahu is also gematria 52 behema. Eliyahu. Now when you ask Eliyahu Hanovi, such a holy malach, Hashem made a covenant with him. Something will bris shalom. Hashem said, forever I'm going to give my covenant of peace. You're my man. And Gemara says Pinchas Eliyahu. Okay, so if he's such a great person, what's the gematria of his is behema. So I'll tell you, we're davening every day in the tefillah of Yetzer Oyer, and we mention over there the avodas hamalachim, and when we mention the avodas hamalachim in that tefillah before Kriyat Shema, we're mentioning them as what we're calling them. V'oefanim, v'chayos hakodesh, v'rash gadol mizun l'masasrofim. We call those great malachim chayos. They call them in other places behem rabba, a big animal, meaning the shoyresh, the source of our nefesh habahamis in us. It's a very high source. Our nefesh habahamis in the shoyresh of nefesh of the malachim are the same shoyresh. That's why Malach, that's why Behemo, Eliyahu Hanovi, which has become a Malach, his gematria is 52, which is he mentioned before, Shem Ban, it's a special name that's connected to that level of Behemo. Again, Chayes HaKodesh could be. Many years ago, when there was in Eretz Yisrael, in Binyanei HaOmah, there was over there, I think it was Siyum HaShas, and when the Gerer Rebbe walked in, Reb Simcha Bunim, Olav HaShalom, the Lev Simcha, obviously, when the Rebbe walks in somewhere, the Chassidim start pushing. A lot of Chassidim, they start pushing it, they start making him a way to go in the middle of hat. And they pushed one Rav over there, a big Rav. They pushed, when they pushed him, he was not a Chassidish Rav, he doesn't know the Chassidish shticks, and he called them Chayas, like animals, like why are you pushing? And the Lev Simcha, when the Ger Rebbe heard this, he looked at him and he told him Chayas HaKodesh, a holy animal, like the Malachim. That's what they replied. The Ger Rebbe, the offshoot of Kotsk. They speak very shortly, but to the point, cutting through. Anyway, call them Chayes HaKodesh. Anyway, Malachim, it's a very, very, the Behema Rabbah, the Chayes HaKodesh, the very high level. So our Nefesh HaBahamis we have, even though compared to Nefesh, it looks like it's a Behema, yeah. The Gemara says, our Behema, what it does, it's like a Behema, yeah. But the origin of Nefesh HaBahamis, it's a Malach. That's why we're davening before Kriyat Shema. One of the reasons we're saying this, the whole avoid of the Malachim, how they serve Hashem over there in Upper. Why we're saying this? What's connected to Kriyat Shema? It's a few reasons, but one of the reasons is because we're going to say after Kriyat Shema, love Hashem with both hearts. Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh Abamis. Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. How you make the Yetzer Hara love Hashem? Because you're reminding Yetzer Hara, you should know, my origin is very holy, of the Nefesh Abamis. Really, in deep, if I megala my origin, I'm very, very holy, the Nefesh Abamis. If I'm megala, it's just concealed over here, came down over here, it got lost in this world, Olam, Miloshen Ha'elam. It's concealed, the godliness over here. But by davening, before Shema Yisrael, with megala, we're trying to say, listen, you have a very, very holy origin, Nefesh Elokis, and soon that's why we're going to say B'chol Avav, Hashem, even with your Nefesh Abahamis, even with your animalistic soul, serve Hashem, because deep inside, animalistic soul, it's also Elokus, godliness. That's what says here. Klovim Mesachakim. If the dogs are happy, meaning the Never Kelev Gematria Behema, if the Behemoth Nefesh Abahamis is happy, serving Hashem with happiness, Eliyahu Novi Balev, that's going to bring you to the highest level. Simcha, being happy, bring you to the highest level to serve Hashem. The Gemara says then, the Gemara concludes, that's only the lesbehu and the keva. When there's no in the cave of it. The pashtus, meaning if the dogs see a female, they're happy because of it. That's not going to bring Eliyahu Novi. That has two pirushim. A female could be inyan isur, meaning you're happy over doing something wrong. That happiness does not bring Eliyahu Hanovi. The second thing is, even when you're happy, when you're doing something, you're not doing anything wrong, but you're happy over materialistic matters. You're happy. What makes you happy? By some people, what makes them happy, I mentioned many times. With davening, Musaf and Shabbos and Yom Tov, Keser, we're saying a beautiful tefillah. Keser, Hashem, they're giving you a crown now. A big tefillah, known as Berditchev Rebbe, by doing Keser, saying Ayah, he would be Oiker, he would be Mafkid Akares, he would be Yeshuas, people that needed children, and all kind of other Yeshuas. He would know that's a big tefillah. So I always ask people, tell me, by Musaf, what are you happy? Are you happy by Musaf, or are you happier by the Kiddush that's after Musaf? So most people are happier by the Kiddush that's after Musaf. Again, so we have to check, where is my happiness? So it says over here, the lesbo in the keva doesn't mean the keva, it means over here, the guf, the body, compared to the neshama, the body, compared, it's called the keva. The keva is a makabel, the zocher is mashpia, recipient and a giver. The neshama is mashpia into the body. So if you're happy over the nekeva, over the bodily stuff, when you're happy when you eat, you're happy when you make money, you're happy only physical, materialistic matters, that doesn't bring the level of Eliyahu Hanovi. Which level brings the level of Eliyahu Hanovi? Gilui Eliyahu in you. And Gilui Eliyahu meaning in you, the Gilui, the highest level of your animalistic soul, the origin of your understand, how holy it is in origin, the way it stands up there like Malachim. That's when you're happy over spiritual matters. And that's really, we see the same by this idea. We also see Gemara Shabbos, Daf Lamed Amud Beis. The Gemara says like this: Shlomo HaMelech spoke two psukim about simcha, about happiness. One pasuk says, "V'shevachti ani es simcha." I praised being happy, and then another pasuk says, "V'lesimcha ma'aza oitza." What are you happy about? The Gemara says, "V'shevachti ani es simcha, simcha shel mitzvah." When you're happy, when you do a mitzvah, when you're happy, you just daven Baruch Hashem, you just learn, you just help somebody, you did tzedakah. It makes you happy. But the simcha ma'aza oitza, the simcha she'ena shel mitzvah. But if you're not happy, simcha she'ena shel mitzvah, then that what are you happy about? We're going to explain this in a minute. Why over there the simcha should be in the right place. The lamdecha, the Gemara says, she'en shechina shoira, the shechina does not rest upon a person or in a place. Lo mitoch atzlus, not when you're sad. V'lo mitoch atzlus, not when you're lazy. V'lo mitoch schoik, not when you have empty laughter. Schok, it's empty laughter. It's nothing. A deep something. V'lo mitoch kalus rosh, not from lightheadedness. V'lo mitoch sicha, not from babbling and speaking nonsense. V'lo mitoch dvorim betelim, yeah. Elo mitoch simcha shel mitzvah. When you do a mitzvah and you're happy, two things. Hey, it's a mitzvah. Then you're happy for doing this mitzvah. Then the Ruach HaKodesh Kedusha rest over there. Shneimar pasuk by Elisha, by Malachim, v'ato chuli menagen. Elisha said, it was a big Navi, Talmud of Eliyahu Hanovi. He says, take for me a menagen, an instrument, and somebody should play the instrument of musical instrument. V'oyo kenagen a menagen. When the person start playing the musical instrument, vati olav yad Hashem. Then the Shekhinah rested upon Elisha. that the simcha shel mitzvah, when you're happy about overdoing simcha, that brings the ruach hakodesh. Omar Rav Yehuda b'chen ledvar halacha. You want to learn halacha properly, you have to learn b'simcha. Oh, now, well, what's that business of simcha shel mitzvah? Well, why it's such a huge difference? If it's bad to be said, it's bad to be said. So don't be sad ever for anything, and be happy for everything. What is business of simcha shel mitzvah? So we have a pasuk in the Torah. Hashem says by the klalas, all the klalas coming upon you. Hashem says, Tachas asher lavatas Hashem elokechem b'simcha v'tuv levov. That's coming upon you because you didn't serve Hashem with happiness. Now you could ask, what's so? Why to such a severe punishment because you were not so happy? Some people by nature, they're not so happy. They maybe a little bit, their spirit is down, but why to punish such a severe? Because somebody's not so happy. Imagine somebody works for you in a company, come the end of the week, you're telling him, I'm not giving you a check today, your paycheck. Why? Because I worked. No, because you were not happy. And not only that, I'm going to punish you. Wait, but you did the work. You served Hashem. You did the mitzvahs. Hashem says, no, I'm punishing you for it. All the punishment coming because you were not serving me with happiness. Okay, but not so bad. What's going on over here? So there's two pirushim over here. One pirush of the Chayz of Lublin, he puts the comma, Tachas asher lavatas Hashem elokecha, comma, because you didn't serve Hashem, comma. And then he says, not only you didn't serve him, b'simcha v'tuv levov, you were happy not serving him. If you're happy not serving Hashem, so you put the happiness in the wrong place, for that you get punishment. But according to the Pashut of Pshat, Tachas b'simcha v'tuv levov, meaning the happiness, it's a gauge, it's an indication what's important to you. When a person finds a dime on the street, he's not so happy. But when he finds $1 million, he's very happy. Why? Because $1 million is important, a dime is not important. So a simcha, a happiness shows that's important, that's what makes me happy when I have it. So if you're serving Hashem, if you're davening, you're learning, you're putting tefillin, and you're not happy, it means it's not important to you. Because that would be important to you, like finding $1 million, you would be happy. Why aren't you happy? Hashem says, that shows me that you're really not serving me. You're doing it as just like you're forced to do it. That's not how Hashem wants us to serve it. So the union of simcha, it's an indication that that's important. That's why we have to serve Hashem b'simcha, and that's why we should not, the material matter should not be so important. That's why it should make us super happy, super sad. We should be more, happiness and sadness should be over when I have my important thing, my priorities are right. And then it says, Klovim Mesachkin, Nefesh HaBahamis has the right priorities. And it's happy for Avodas Hashem. Eliyahu Hanavi, Misgala, then in the person, is origin of his Nefesh HaBahamis, which is a Malach, Misgala in him, the way it's an origin, not the way it came down over here. And the Gemara says, you're not happy over physical matters. That's not what brings the kedusha, the spiritual happiness of it. I'm going to just finish with this story. They say one time the Baditchever Rebbe and the Baruch Mezhebezer, they traveled together. They stopped in an inn, and in the morning after they came from their davening to the host to eat, the host served them with a sunny side eggs. That was the breakfast wherever they get, plus sunny side eggs. One of the Gaboim of the Shamoshim, one of the people that were with the Rebbes over there, I'm not sure with the Baditchever, the Baruch, one of them says, "Oh, I love this," he said. He says, "I love the sunny side eggs." The Baditchever Rebbe got so emotional over this. He says, "You love sunny side eggs? You have to love Hashem," he says. And he got like, "How could you even speak? I love this." And the whole tray turned upside down when he was that excited. And they say this whole sunny side egg spilled on the bekisha for a Baruch. They say, Adayom, this bekisha is by somebody that inherited with that stain from that sunny side eggs. The idea is that we have necessities. Olam hazeh, we need to have money, we need to eat, we need to sleep, we need all but the happiness, what makes me really happy should be, Baruch Hashem, I'm able to serve Hashem, to daven, to learn. That should be the important. That's a necessity. But it's not something that's all your life, that's what you love. You love Hashem, Hashem elokecha. That you need, that you have it. So that's what's happening. Klovim mesachakim. When the Nefesh HaBahamis is happy to serve Hashem, then you could reach the level of Eliyahu Hanavi.